Hello, and welcome to the Cubicorn Games Podcast. My name is Dustin Morbido. This is probably going to be a pretty quick little episode. We're just going to get some game dev updates out there, talk about a couple of things we've been playing, and joining me to chat about various things as the weather roars outside and
that was
people are racing through the streets.
It's
both. It's been windy and rainy for the last day or two, and
that's true.
somebody fucking drag raced out there. Lorraine Morbido.
I am not out there drag racing.
She's not out there drag racing. She's
Nope.
in here talking to me about video games.
Steadily suffering from yet another atmospheric pressure headache. We love them. We get them. We hate it.
We'll see if any of that comes out in the thing. I'm guessing you can't hear that car in the recording, but
I doubt it.
how's your headache? You doing okay?
I mean, it's going.
Building.
Yeah.
Good. Well, then that'll give us one more reason to not take too long doing this.
Oh, I can trust. Like, I get every time I feel like anyone who doesn't have like regular headaches. When I mention like, oh, I have a headache, they're like, oh my god, do you need to go lie down? And I'm like, I literally have a headache. Like, I would say a solid 70 to 80% of days in some form or another. It's not common that I get like so bad I can't function or so bad I get nauseous. Like, those happen, but I'm not like that bad. A coworker of mine has like prescription medication for her migraines. Like, she gets them bad, but like I feel like maybe it's just a pain tolerance thing. Like, I'm so used to it. I can function decently. I'm not functioning great, but like I can do it.
I was going to say I take responsibility for no more than half of those headaches. The eye roll did not play on mic, but it was there.
That's what freaking 10 years of marriage gets you, friends.
That's the old ball and chain.
Me gesturing to Dustin.
Oh my gosh. That's true, actually. The last time we had our 10th anniversary between recordings. So happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Wow.
In all seriousness, thank you for being with me for all these years, Lorraine. Yeah. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for putting up with me.
And I'm still so excited to be hanging out together, and especially to be making video games together.
Yeah.
And speaking of making video games together.
Wow, we do that.
We've actually made all kinds of progress in the last couple weeks. We have a rough but playable prototype.
It's got a loop.
Of the Tower 5 boss fight, of the laboratory boss. It's a good start.
I'm never going to call them their, like, government names. They're always going to be tower
At some point,
number.
I know I'm going to have to transition, because I'm trying to transition in like our Discord communications to speaking the words that are, as opposed to just the numbers of those towers. And
I'm literally just going to,
someday, when the game is released in the wild, I assume people will refer to them by their names. Which
I mean,
is
those
part
are
of
the only names they'll
it.
see. So,
Yeah.
like, but we've been in this too long. It's just like, yeah, it's Tower 1. We're in Tower 5.
Yeah.
I've been making art assets for Tower 6.
Yeah, and that's going real well, too.
I'm
really pleased with, like, again, she had a version of a lot of the stuff many years ago.
Yeah, a lot of these had some, like, rough version, and I'm doing, like, we had a mini discussion today of, like, I was basically asking for a list of gameplay relevant objects to go in, because a lot of the stuff I've built like the ground and the walls and a lot of the backgrounding stuff, and have been adding in, well, aside from the checkpoint, like more decorative features to put in the level to kind of give it that spice. And obviously eventually we need functioning things. I've got, like, we have general ideas for like all the interactable things, but like there comes time where like I'm not thinking of something while I'm just making stuff, or you come into a very specific, like, oh, we need like a breakable box or something for this level. I'm like, okay, I'll go design one. Like certain like tropes that we've used in other places that then get translated into like the aesthetic of the area.
Yeah, because like you've said before, I've kind of already gotten a lot of the way through working on the non-interactable stuff, like background tiles.
You could technically build a level with like some amount of maneuverability, but there wouldn't really be anything in it. I still haven't like redone the door. That's something, I think that was kind of like the next big thing. I tackled some big background objects over the past 2 days, all decorative, obviously, but the the door, I think, was the next thing on my to-do list, because it's a little, like, most of the stuff, like, it was pretty ornate, but also, like, for, like, just, like, value-wise, art, like, color value-wise, a little muddy. Everything was kind of like that. Like, I've been trying to, in this pass on things, really help separate the layers of, like, what should be catching your eye versus what should be a little further back, while not, like, making the whole background just be, like, a same, like, mid-gray mess, or, like, completely dark or whatever. Like, it's getting there. I'm figuring it out.
Yeah, and like you said, after our conversation earlier, I kind of owe you, at least my perspective of what else we need in terms of interactable art assets.
And, like, that
we
can always be compounded on, because, like, there's been times where, like, you're mid, like, level. I have stopped actively designing assets for a particular, like, tower, and you're like, hey, I'm working on this thing and I need this type of object for this tower, like, and then I just go and do it.
Yeah,
Some of those things won't come up until we're actively building levels.
Yeah, we'll hit that point too at some point for sure, because again, we're kind of like spinning two plates of, like, we're finishing up, getting closer to finishing up Tower 5 stuff, and trying to lay the groundwork to get rolling right into Tower 6 stuff.
Yeah, and I still want to do another pass on the laboratory, because, like, I've done a little bit of background stuff. I think I'm still just so hesitant about that tower specifically because of the rotation. I don't want it to be too unreadable while things are rotating. So, like, I'm hesitant about making a lot of stuff for the background, but it needs something, because when it's just a big expanse, like, for at least me specifically, it's very easy to get lost in some of those rooms where you're, like, continually rotating and trying to find, like, very specific, like, paths or exits through things. So, like, there needs to be something, but I want to do it carefully. I want to do it in a way that doesn't overload people with, like, too much visual information that makes, like, the rest of it just unreadable. And there's a handful, like, I did a handful of things, one of which is just, like, a kind of, like, tileable pipes to just kind of, like, be in the background. Another one that can be a little more kind of built and loose to be, like, just a bunch of weird, like, I made wiring basically that can be kind of, like, put around and, like, chained together and, like, interesting, like, almost like the track, but just completely uninteractable, just to get something, just to add a little something. The background's been tweaked a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll see where all that stuff ends up. Again, it's a work in progress, but it's we've made some really good progress in the last couple of weeks. Stuff's been getting done, which is good, because again, that's going to be our the ultimate goal from now to launch, is to hopefully have no major, like, oh, we didn't do anything for like 4 weeks. Like, hopefully we'll just keep slowly but surely chipping away at stuff until it all gets finished. A good couple of weeks of effort, I would say, since the last recording.
On top of, like, everything else that's been going on life-wise since then. Juggling a lot of stuff between, like, projects, life events, and home repair.
Yeah. I had to fix some stuff in the bathroom that we're not going to get into. But
I mean, water was running where it shouldn't be running, and now it's not. Should have called my girl Marta. She would have fixed us up right.
If only we could actually call.
She would have done it in a day. She would have had it. We wouldn't have had to put food coloring in the toilet tank 2 separate times and watch the toilet bowl turn pink once.
Yeah, but we got it done, and we're getting that stuff done. So again, it'll be really exciting to get that stuff out, in a month-ish, I think, before we drop that next build. It's going to be super exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But that's how it's up with Super Cucumber. As far as things we've been playing, you want me to go first? You want to go first?
How long do you want me to rant?
Well, I guess I'll go first, because I know I'm not going to go that long.
You're gaming.
But I might still have to, if you rant too long, I might have to cut you off or fix it in post or something.
I'll try.
So I've still been playing Roboquest on Steam. It's still pretty good. I like it a lot. And in fact, I'm going to still go into detail about a couple of things that I really don't love about it, but I want to preface all that by saying that, and not even completely, I don't know. There's a couple of things about the game I definitely think are just weird and, like, would stand, to me, I was like, oh, how did this end up like this? The sound stuff specifically, I'll just talk about that more in a little bit. But the gameplay loop is really fun. It's still really enjoyable.
I mean, you keep playing it, and that's again,
yeah.
it's high praise for almost any game at this point.
The enemies are not bad. The later you get, the more interesting they are, which makes some sense, right?
Yeah.
I will especially say that like the bosses I was pretty unimpressed with. The ones that serves you early on, the ones that like basically the first boss encounter. I think it'll give you like 3 different bosses that you can fight. And they're all a little bit boring, but they like by the time you get deeper into the game, the later ones are much more interesting. Like they manipulate the environment better, and they just like keep you on your toes more. The first one I thought was pretty good. Because I don't even remember the names of. I think I fought 2 other ones other than this, but the first one that I thought was there's one that's like just a room full of like kind of elite level enemies, which is good because at that point I thought the game was sorely lacking that kind of like it's a controlled enough chaos where there's enough threats that you have to be really cognizant of all of them, but not so much that just the room is full of threats. I guess.
Yeah.
Because that's one of my big complaints about the game that does fundamentally annoy me about it. Is that like most of the times when you end a run, like when you wipe, it feels to me like there's not a lot you can do about it. Like you either would have needed to be more spec'd up, like you either just need to
came in underprepared.
Yeah, you either got like really bad RNG and like got a bunch of worse like weapons or like perks or whatever than you would have otherwise, or earlier on before you've bought a bunch of the kind of like permanent upgrades on the tech tree, you just haven't gotten deep enough to where you can like face tank. Like, the amount of shit that's happening to you, because some of those rooms are just, like, a very claustrophobic. Like, it'll just open a door and you'll
They're
immediately
really narrow.
Yeah, you'll immediately be, like, in a relatively small
seen.
square or rectangle with very minimal cover. And that, like, having it runs and like that as opposed to, like... it just feels like I'm less in control of my fate than I would want to be.
Yeah, you're given no room to try and maneuver.
Yeah. I forget the name of the class I just unlocked, but there's a class that like throws a javelin that is probably the best one so far because it's basically like its activated ability is like you go in invis, and so enemies won't see you for a while, but then the next time you attack, you come out of invis.
Okay.
And they actually not only that, but when you go invis, you leave behind like a spectral, like an after image of your robot character, and so they focus on that. So it's even better than being invisible. It's that they will explicitly kind of target the last place you were.
You're making like a decoy.
Yeah, you're
and,
making like a
sneaking
decoy.
Away.
Yeah, so it is kind of like Strand Hunter plus Void Hunter from Destiny.
Prismatic Hunter, basically.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's really, really good.
I think you might be able to make the decoy in Prismatic. I honestly don't remember.
I don't recall. But
I'm far enough removed at this point.
It's quite good, and the javelins are really good too because they like all the different classes have a different melee ability. I think most of them are kind of dull. Because the last I was using like the turret-based class.
Yeah, I saw you
it's
playing
just basically a little missile, which is it's pretty boring. The javelin feels like it's better than the missile in every way. Like I don't think it's quite as like you can't shoot it as far because it does have a little bit of an arc to it.
Okay.
So I guess you have to like really lean back if you were trying to toss it like 40 meters in front of you.
So can you like affect it by like lifting your
a bit?
Okay.
I think there are limits to it. I haven't tried to like
Sure.
like spiral one like from the 50-yard line to the goal or whatever.
Touchdown.
But it definitely is a little bit of that, yeah. But you throw them, they do a lot of damage. They're capable of doing crit damage, and they're like the Titan Hammer, also in Destiny, where like you can walk over and pick it back up.
Okay.
So you can restock them instantly by like running over it, and then the perks. Some of the things like in the individual runs when you pick like the perks
Ability
you get in
perks,
that run. Some of those for the javelin are really good too, because the other ones are just like for a lot of the other classes, it's like it does a little more damage. Like whatever, and this one's got ones that affected like your status more. The one that marks enemies is really good because marked enemies take a bunch more damage from every other source. And so when you buy the perk that makes your javelin mark stuff, it's like really cracked.
That really just sounds like it was built off of like Destiny.
It does
like,
a lot.
like just the whole character
and like
itself.
I said, I'm pretty sure with that class, one of their traits is called like Void Hunter or something. So I chalked it up to I was like, that might just be an actual explicit Destiny reference. But.
Given everything else about it, it sounds like it is very much built like in homage to or in like referenced from like that kind of stuff, which I think is fun.
Yeah, but that class is really good, and there's 2 more classes that I still haven't unlocked at all, but I do have the majority of them open now. But that one's definitely my favorite so far.
Nice.
And the turret one was my favorite before then, but it's not. The turret one's not quite that good unless you get. Again, this is like what do you roll on any given run, but the turret one has like a thing where you can strongly influence how much the enemies target your turrets. Like it basically makes them aggro your turrets away more than you, and whenever you get that one, it like almost puts the game on easy mode.
Sure, yeah, because the fire's off.
Yeah,
of
they
you.
will if you have 2 turrets up, they will almost ignore you until like at least one of them goes down, which is pretty fucking free. in general, the enemy or the character classes are pretty fun to play with. Like I said, I have some problems with.
They sound pretty unique, at least.
Some very nitpicky opinions like that were like, oh, some of these abilities feel way better than the other ones, which like that might even be intentional. Like again, I think you can kind of either make like go out of your way to kind of make peaks and valleys for ability sets, or you can try to make everything sort of flat.
I mean,
and there's like
was
pluses
even
and minuses
like,
to both of those approaches.
I feel like that's maybe a bit more common across that type of game, because even just thinking back to like Slay the Spire, those first 3 classes are all pretty different, but all kind of like whatever. And then you get the Watcher, and the Watcher is doing like 80 quadrillion more things than everybody else because it came out later and like had a little more time to cook or whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing that I noticed immediately in that game about that character. I was like, oh yeah, this definitely feels like the one that they had like made the thing.
Yeah.
And then kind of like ripped the knob off a little bit.
I mean, that just happens like when you're building like unless you are like actively kind of building them in parity, like newer stuff is just going to be more overpowered because you already have a base. Like, well, I already did these basic things, so we got to do something different, and something different is generally something more. I
guess at some point you can either kind of choose power creep or not.
Yeah.
But in like a single player game, I think it's just more
matter.
of like like a style thing than like a doing that in a PvP game is a very dangerous proposition for a lot of reasons.
Bungie. Oh, sorry, something.
But if it's
throat.
just a PvE thing, it's sort of
who cares?
It doesn't matter as much. Like it's not a big deal.
Because then you get people who are like, I'm going to like no upgrade with the base class, and then go like fucking insane, like. And just if you're good enough, you can fucking do that. Like, who cares?
Right. But
have at it, friend.
Yeah, like I said, I'm still having a really good time. The character abilities are still pretty good. I just talked about some of my minor nitpicky things with balancing. I still think the audio in that game is a little subpar. That's like the biggest thing about it. That like I'm almost surprised with the relative quality of everything else in it. Like I said, I really like the gun feel and the movement and most of the character stuff. The audio balance just sounds way out of whack to me, and also I just feel like a bunch of little sound effects are missing that could help the game a lot. Like for example, so like I was telling Chris when we played the other day online, I have since like the first 4 minutes or something of booting it up, I had immediately gone into the sound settings and like halved the music volume, just like turned the music down in the mix by 50% because I felt like all the ambient, like the sound effects were so quiet out of the box. And then on top of it, I would love to have more sound feedback for certain things in the game. Like for example, I still think like the incoming threats and damage sounds are not up to par. I just wish there was a little, like that stuff was either a little more prominent or there were a little more of it. Because when the grenades and stuff go off right near you, it's still, even with like the audio in relative terms of the mix cranked up more, that stuff still feels a little anemic to me. I would still love a like low health kind of hit state noise that like I really feel the absence of that coming from Destiny of like or you know if you play Halo or like lots of other games where like because they don't have really any other than looking at your health bar. There's not like a persistent indicator of
really
what your health state is.
Gotcha.
There's not like the blood kind of mosaic from Call of Duty that's kind of like
iris or whatever.
Or whatever. And there's not like the kind of badoo like the shield like the low noise from like Destiny or Halo. And so I just think that kind of sucks. Like that straight up. I just wish there was more feedback to when you're like kind of in the bottom third of your health bar.
It doesn't have to be the like Pokemon like dee-doo, dee-doo,
yeah,
dee-doo,
and again, that was
like
the thing. I noticed that when we were making our roguelike, like that is still one of the things I'm really most proud that we added before shipping that game. Was I really love the little like kind of iris effect that goes around you and you're in the bottom, you know, roughly. I think it is about a third of your health. Definitely in the bottom half. There's like an obvious visual indication other than looking at your health bar that you kind of need to like really mind your interactions at that point. So I definitely think the game would benefit from something like that. And for just the abilities and stuff, like I wish there was a little chime or something for when like those cooldowns are up. Because like there'll be a little like, again, all this stuff visually exists in the UI somewhere, but like when you're in the thick of it, I'm not looking at my cooldown. I'm just trying to not die. And so I would love it if there was a little like boing or like, you know, just some other noise. Both when like launching abilities like the drones, I feel like either of those don't have like a sound or it's like quieter than I want it to be. And then when it's like when that ability is refreshed again, when you could push the button again, just some other audio cue that's be like, hey, you can do this, that I wouldn't need to like keep track of with my eyeballs, and that I could like over time muscle memory self into like, oh, hear that noise, push this button. Yeah. To like when you have a drone die and then you have to wait, 14 seconds or whatever for the next like summon to come up or something like that.
Dustin out here playing video games ears first.
Really, honestly. And again, that's another thing where I'm looking forward to. I will do my due diligence in Cucumber to get to at least just like grab sound effects from the existing game wherever and like put them where I think noises will be in that boss fight. Because then like standing that up, so as we've got it so far, I could already tell. I was like, oh, this feels so much worse than it will when there's at least noises to show you that stuff's happening.
Yeah.
A couple of these instances here. Audio design still super underrated.
Part
of the feedback.
It is really amazing just how much sound effects change things. Like, it is crazy.
Yeah.
They're so tiny in some cases, but like that, because even like I still kind of like think back to like just adding like walking sound effects for Cucumber. Like, they're so quiet, they barely sound like anything, and I'm sure anyone who is playing the game for the first time probably won't really notice them. But as someone who has played it for way too many hours at this point, and having only had the footsteps for so little, like, it is like, it's such a nice little touch. Just, it adds so much. And I definitely understand why in a lot of cases it's not prioritized, because it's definitely not one of the flashier things that like people think of when they think of game design. Like, they think of music, sure, but not sound design, not sound effects and stuff like that. That is such a like very specific but really linchpin part of any game, is the sound design.
And again, as far as other stuff in the game, like I said, I really enjoy the combat. The guns, I think, are still really well made. They're all just like fiddly enough. Most of them have like pretty unique reload animations and like have relatively different styling from one another. I think they did a good job diversifying that toolkit, like from one weapon to another.
Cool.
Both visually and functionally. And again, as far as other pain points, I still think the level design is hit or miss, although I do think as you get deeper in, it becomes a bit better. And like I was really aching for some like some more open, more explory-like areas from like the first parts of the game, or very corridor-like. And it does get to that point, at least. Like I feel like I'm slightly bit past the midpoint. Like I've probably gotten, my guess is that I've gotten as deep as like 65-70% through a run.
Okay.
At like a complete run at this point.
Yeah.
And the stuff near the back half of that is much better in that respect. So that has definitely softened my criticism on that a little bit. The early stuff I think is more rough in that respect. And they're before then they're very tight corridors that technically have some verticality, but it's really not used for much. Like you can get up there,
but why?
But you don't really need to, because the encounters aren't that difficult the most of the time. And like I said, those boxier areas where you would maybe want to do some of that, like usually that stuff isn't present, and they almost never put enemies at those elevated points. But that does change up again a little bit later on, where at least some of the other vantage points and some of those more open areas are more useful for you to take up. I still kind of wish that some of the enemies, like if they had posted more stuff up like that, which again maybe there will be a little bit more of that. But that's another thing where some of the later bosses I think are much improved.
They use the
from
space
the early ones.
better.
Yeah, they use the space better. Like there was the one that we just wiped on when I was playing with Chris the other day, was this kind of bug thing that basically like hovered above you around the arena, and it would shoot stuff down at you, and sometimes it would like there was kind of a grid of tiles on the floor, and sometimes it would destroy the tiles on the floor, so you had to kind of like mind the arena as you're moving around it. It was really good. It was it's definitely one of the better boss fights in the game so far.
That sounds cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah, Roboquest. I would strongly recommend it for let's say under $20, because I think it's $25 regular price. Again, I'm super fucking picky. So like as far as like the amount of hours you'll get out of it, I think it is probably worth $25. But if you can get it for 20 or less, absolutely. Like I think it was half off when I bought it. I paid like $12.50. Infinitely worth that much money, like so worth it. But yeah, I'll probably give like a small update if I hopefully I'll finish it at some point.
Yeah, maybe you can get through like at least a run or something.
Yeah, maybe I'll play some more multiplayer. But I have like at least lost the intrinsic motivation of I finally did buy my way through the last kind of permanent upgrade for all that stuff, and so then now it's just a matter of getting it done.
Doing it.
Which again, that's the part that the things that annoy me about it are annoying me more, because it does just feel like, oh well, I've gotten into the room where I would expect to have a good gun, and instead I have a kind of shit gun.
Yeah.
And so maybe I just want to start over, and then that's kind of annoying. So I'm in that like I guess point in the product cycle where I have to decide if I want to like put up with that kind of stuff and keep grinding it out, or maybe take a little break, or what have you. But But that said, I have been having a good time with it. I would recommend Roboquest, which is on Steam, and maybe I didn't check if it's on Switch or anything like that, but it's on Steam and it's pretty good.
Hell yeah.
If you want a roguelike first-person shooter. But that's what I've been up to. And then you have gotten deeper into the digital world.
I have.
How is Digimon going?
I really like it. I'm at the point where I'm pretty sure the next thing that will get me any sort of like bigger, like in-game, not specifically trophy rewards, which I'm gonna platinum this game. I'm getting really damn close. There's a lot of just like little boxes I need to check, is just finish the story. Like I am literally right there. I think there's like technically like one more like bail point that I can get to, which is going to unlock a handful of things that I need, but I'm doing some other shit first. But yeah, I'm the next like major story trophy I'm getting is see the end of the story. Like I'm fucking there. Got to go talk to Plutomon first. But I've really been enjoying it. The story was interesting. I'll be interested. I haven't seen the ending of it, obviously, but the lead up to it. Cool stuff happened. I like seeing all the Digimons. The environments have been really interesting. It's a time travel story, but like it's like a kind of weird one because I'm still not entirely sure where the start really was. I've got questions just because of like I don't want to spoil anything because the game is still like very new, but just the nature of how events have been unfolding. I'm not entirely sure what was up at the start, but like I've seen the actual, we've been back to that point a couple times now. And
via time travel.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that especially an interactive one, a really good time travel story starts near the end and then you like loop back. I think seeing where or maybe not the complete end, I think seeing somewhere where you're going to be and being confused and then doubling back there after you've like learned context is extremely interesting, because I've been thinking about the beginning constantly this whole time as I'm getting more information. And
I have a question that just
yes.
occurred to me. Is there any gameplay motivation to the time travel, or is it all narrative? Like, is there a point where you have to like go back in time and change something and then go forward and something different is different in the world? Okay.
Well, it's mostly used for a narrative thing, because a lot of it will be like you're going along and like you're like whatever the timeline is you're in, something happens and it's like it has damaged the state of the world and bringing the end of the world faster. So like, okay, like let's go back and make a like we've learned some information, like, oh, this person got poisoned or somebody was actually betraying and like leaking information elsewhere. Like we need to go back and stop that from happening to then correct the main timeline because we need this person later. Because one of the big cruxes like mid to late game is like, oh, like we've got this immense power that we're trying to channel, but it's too big for one person. So we're trying to get like a collective of like powerful individuals to help us with this goal, which turns out to be the Olympus 12, which are Digimon based off of Roman gods. Mm-hmm. Hence Plutomon, Jupitermon's there, Bacchusmon, all kinds of guys. And a lot of the like stories that like we met, like, so the game starts and then you go back in time 8 years and then you eventually catch up after like at a different, it's a very Back to the Future 2 skewed timeline type deal, because we kind of changed a point in time where like a area was supposed to get like kind of obliterated and we stopped that from happening, but like a different sort of disaster happened that did change the world. So there is like a skew sort of thing. I don't know if that original time even exists anymore. We haven't gone back to it. We'll see what happens with the like the ending or whatever. But we met most of the characters who we were then had to save in the later time, or it's being dubbed the present day as opposed to 8 years in the past. That is the past. The present is like, or the changed future that we eventually went to. And a lot of it's been, oh, like these are characters like, oh, I like we helped you before. Like it's been 8 years since you've seen me, because for us it was like a blink of an eye. And then like something happens to them and we're like, oh, we need to go and like jump back like an hour, basically, not like in game time, but like
right,
a theoretical hour or two or whatever till before when we went and interacted with this person, and be like, actually no. Don't do this, or this person, like, you need to get up, stop drinking, like, let's go. But it's been a lot of fun. The one really big pain point is the fucking farm. I hadn't really gotten into it like in a gameplay sense last time.
Do you mean the farm as in like there's a place?
There's a place called the Digifarm.
Okay. I didn't know if you mentioned like the concept of like accruing resources through repetitive gameplay, or is
no.
it
No,
the farm is a
no.
Okay.
The Digifarm.
Okay.
It has been at least like I haven't played like most of the Digimon Story games have not been localized. It's kind of really only been the last 3, Cyber Sleuth, Hacker's Memory, Time Stranger, that have been like at least like promptly or like correctly in some way like localized. Some of them have been called Digimon World, like some of the DS games, but they also had this concept of the farm where you like, it's basically like a fancier box. You leave guys there, you can train them, you can get them like certain upgrades so you don't have to have them in your party. And the biggest problem with it in this game is that you can't digivolve guys in the farm. So most of those are based on your character, because you've got like an agent level. Like your character is leveling up and getting passive abilities that affect like how much like XP and like their stats and stuff that in regards to different personality types of Digimon and their base stats, which you can affect by just leveling them up, having converted them from like scan data at a really high percentage, or loading other, like you can basically just like make Digimon to feed into other ones, and that can boost. I haven't done a lot of that because I haven't needed to, because the game, except for the fucking Junomon fight, hasn't been very hard, and my guys have been leveling fairly well on their own. But the Digivolution menu is very critical. You do not have access to that at all in the farm. So a lot of it, I mean, like maybe most people aren't using it. Like I'm assuming a lot of people are, like send a guy there, train them in a specific stat that they need to digivolve. Because you can, like once they stop leveling up, you can keep giving them stats by doing that. Like you don't have, like level caps are based on the talent stat, and that's from like using, like, there's a lot going on. A lot of shit. You can keep cycling them, like send them down a couple levels, level them back up to like raise their level cap and stuff. It's very fiddly, but that's common for these games. This is something I've done before. Previous games, you had access to basically your entire menu in the farm. It was like, okay, like we can check the tree, even just checking it, just seeing if they can come out yet. I have to go in, pull them out, leave the farm, open my menu, go to the Digivolution menu, check the stats. Okay, he's not ready yet. Get out of my menu, go back into the farm, remember what stat he needed, put them in, put them on the equipment, and then keep moving. Like, it is way too many steps, and it is so frustrating.
Is it like a, is it basically just like a full like menu screen when you go to the farm?
It is a full like you don't have access to most of your menu in there.
But is it just like basically a UI overlay? It's not like an explorable space.
No, so normally in the past couple of games, it's been like you're just looking at like it's very like digital pet-ish, like kind of Tamagotchi. They're just wandering around this little like 2D space or whatever. This time they're on like, I can only describe it as like a tetrasphere globe, or like that's like for some reason in Catan pieces that like they don't matter. Most of the farm layout doesn't matter at all. It used to matter a lot because you could like sometimes the environments meant things. You could place items in there to boost certain stats. All of that is just cosmetic fluff. I haven't done anything with it. Placing Digimon doesn't fucking matter. Just put them on the water. Who fucking cares? But it's this giant 3D globe that you're just plopping shit down on. And like, it's really big for some reason. You can rotate around it really slow for some reason. I don't know. Its design baffles me.
I was just trying to
work
my way backwards into why it is that way.
I have literally no idea. I think some of it is just because of how it was made. Because it is like, so you go into basically the Velvet Room, the in-between theater. It has relevance. Who fucking cares? What's her face is there? Mirai. I don't know how to pronounce things when I read them. And someone has said her name before, but I don't remember. She's been in multiple... I've seen her a quadrillion times. I know this woman. I just saw her in Digimon World Next Order. She was literally there. She's in charge of a lot of like stuff. You go up to her counter. She's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to the Digifarm or do you want to go to the outer dungeons? I want to go to the Digifarm. Little animation panning to the globe that's next to her. Screen fade out, faded on this like completely different globe in a completely different space. Like you are a cursor moving around. There's a tiny little menu on the side. It's like, oh, do you want to interact with the guy? Do you want to like move a guy into the farm? Do you want to like, for some reason, decorate your farm, even though it doesn't fucking matter? Do you want to like place more ground? Do you want to fuck with the tiles? You can do that. I don't know why you would. So, yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Interesting.
I did see that Bandai put out a survey about this game. I fucking went and took it and
let them know what you thought of
I literally like they're at one point like, oh, what do you think is something we could do better at this game? I was literally like, please, all caps, let you digivolve from the farm or at least look at it. Let me just check that data, please, for the love of God. I even said there was at one point in time just a single sentence that was please period later on in the like small paragraph of text. And then earlier on it was like, oh, what are these which of these features do you like? Farm, very dissatisfied. Like everything else funny. Was like at least satisfied to very satisfied because I'm really enjoying this game, but that farm sucks. It sucks and I hate it.
Indeed. Well, other than that, which again, that sounds like basically just like a very not ready for prime time like UI implementation.
It's just because again, I think some of it is just because of like how it transitioned from like it's from one state to another, whereas like because this is the same company that did Cyber Sleuth and like Media Vision, I think is what it's called, who they've like had make these at least last 3 games. Like I don't know if they were told to make something different or they wanted to do something different. The other ones were very simple menus. They like you have like a menu on the side the whole time, visually not very flashy. They made it a lot flashier, but functionally it's worse. It's just because of how fiddly like you can get with this training stuff. Like, because the thing is like you can access like the way that the personalities work, like you can affect those pretty like easily, and like that menu is even a little muddy, but it gives you a different version of it like in the farm specifically, because like so you can see how you can affect it in certain ways, because that can affect like their stat bonuses, and like certain Digivolutions need guys to be certain personalities or whatever. I think it's less intentional bad design and more just like negligent implementation. Like it feels like a misstep, not a deliberate like choice, which like seems insane to me given how like specific like, oh, you need to reach this threshold. Even if you could just tell me, if you just said like, hey, this guy can digivolve, great. Or just show me, like, you don't have to bring up the menu, like, or show me a version of it. Like, just, I don't need to, even if I can't specifically digivolve from the farm, just let me look at the data. Just let me see it. I know you're tracking it because I know it's there. like, let me bring up the field guide so I can look and see, like, what level he needs. Like, there's so many ways it could have been done. Like, that information could have been, like, surfaced in there. It just isn't. And it's frustrating.
Is there anything else you want to bring up at this point? I think again, we don't need to get all the way into it because we'll presumably talk about it a little more once you've actually finished it. But enjoying it. Other than that,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Big rant out of the way.
I'm having a lot of fun. Like it is really interesting to have this game and a mainline Pokemon game come out within like days of each other, because like it is kind of night and day. Like I see footage and screenshots of ZA and it looks so barren for like being a major city that it's set in. Whereas like granted, people are going to complain about it in the Digimon game because there's like the frame rate's not high enough or whatever. But like all of the like town areas are so full of life. And like, even if you can't like interact with everyone, like there's movement everywhere. There's just like guys hanging out. Stuff is like happening. There's like ambient guys like overhead or in the distance that you might never actually get to. Some of the Digimon are really fucking huge and take up a lot of space. Like that part was so charming to me, like how alive they made these areas feel, and not just the digital world, but like as someone said in the game, and it freaked me out, the material world. That was a bit of a like, oh, you're right, but like you shouldn't say that. It's just so vibrant, and it's like even more so than the previous game. I mean, because those were built for the Vita first and then ported to other things otherwise, where these are like more current gen shit. I think it's just 5 Series X or whatever the current Xbox is and Steam or whatever. No like previous gen consoles at all. Not the Switch either, I believe, or Switch 2. Probably someday. But they're so like, it's just fun to be in those. Like the first time I went to Central Town, which is like the main hub in the digital world that you go to first, I was just like kind of overwhelmed because it was just so vibrant and it was super cute. And like there's a lot of weird little buildings you can just go into that just have guys you can talk to. And like that's it. There's no other reason to go in there. But like there's like in one of the there's a couple little rooms in the factory area that's just like, or the factorial area, whatever the fuck it's called, where there's just guys just hanging out. They're just hanging out. One of them's playing like a claw machine for some reason, because like Digimon doesn't make sense. But it's so charming, and it's just really cute, and all the characters are really funny. And it's just been a lot of fun. Like I've been itching for an RPG recently, and I'm really glad that I was able to like hold myself together enough for this game to come out and really sink my teeth into it, because I'm having a really good time.
Well, yeah, and like I said, since we'll almost certainly be discussing it a little more, like by the time you've actually wrapped it up. So in the interest of time, I think we might just call it a show there.
Sure. Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, right, exactly.
If you if you like me are kind of disillusioned with the Pokemon franchise but still like getting weird little guys, like I'd recommend it. It's a really good one. The previous 2 games, Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory, are also very good. This one's got a little more of a pizzazz to it. There's a little more going on. Just not in the fucking Digifarm.
Very good. Good stuff.
Hell yeah.
Right on. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing that other information about Digimon.
Always happy to share more information about Digimon.
We should be back in a couple weeks with some other updates, potentially other impressions. God knows what else. But
who can say?
Yeah, until then, thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to check out, just keep tabs on us in general. You can go to cubicorngames.com. We post updates every once in a while. You can find links to our Blue Sky, our fucking Discord. If you join that Discord, you can get builds of Super Cucumber. There will be another one of those dropped in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed this podcast, you can follow it pretty much anywhere podcasts are found. Apple Podcasts, YouTube. What else is it? The Spotify is the other main one. Lots of other places. My brain's a little mushy.
And if you've got a game you'd like us to check out,
if you
email us at podcast@cubicorngames.com or hit us up in the Discord. We have a specific channel for other people's projects.
I did play some indie games. I didn't really necessarily want to chat about them, but I played some stuff from Next Fest, which was fun. I may talk about that stuff at some point in the future. I may not, but it was a good time just to like boot up that page and just download some stuff and fuck with it. So
someday maybe we'll get back onto like streaming more regularly if
we'll see.
Other life stuff finally calms the hell down.
Yeah. Got my plate pretty much full with things to do, but
we got
so if that
we're
if that ever
juggling a little
lightens
too
up,
much right now, like usual. But
until that time and until next time, thank you, Lorraine.
Yeah,
for hanging out. Thank you, everybody at home, so much for listening, and we will be back in another couple of weeks with some more podcasts.
Bye.